This is Jody Denberg from KUTX, the Austin Music Experience. And we have a unique Austin music experience, a native Austinite. We're going to spend some quality time with Alejandro Rose-Garcia, aka Shakey Graves. Good to see you, man.
Hey, dude, how are you?
I'm like the rest of us. This is my fake DJ backdrop. I just pulled, no, this is actually my home studio. Where are you at physically?
I'm in my home studio as well, which is kind of like this sort of setup right here. This looks kind of cluttered, but my room is kind of the equivalent of the newscasters that don't wear pants. Like if you saw what's on the other side of this screen, it's just total chaos. I've been rearranging things to sort of like record, and then my weird cam setup that I had to figure out how to put together. But for each one, it's not like my space is designed to be super modular. So it's like ripping everything off a wall and dragging it over to another area. So it's kind of like life is right now. You know, it's clean one day, and then I'm rearranging everything, and you know.
So is this Hello Gorgeous the studio, or is this your home studio?
This is my home studio. Hello Gorgeous is in a place called Goforth, Texas.
And do you live by yourself, or I mean, I'm here with my wife, so I have someone to talk to.
Oh yeah.
Are you by yourself a lot, or do you have a partner with you?
I have a partner with me, very luckily, and then I live in kind of a setup where I ended up moving into the house that I grew up in, which is something I always wanted to do. And my mother and my younger sister live. It's like two houses, so we have like a little family compound. So I get to see people, you know. And I've got my sweet partner in crime, Stephanie. But man, I would be in a whole different world if it was just me by myself and hadn't physically touched anybody in almost a month now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, I'm grateful for company as well. Hey, say hi to your mom. I used to play her cassettes on another station I worked at years ago on this feature we had called the Daily Demo, and I loved their music. So, greetings to your family.
Absolutely. Which band? Because she had her solo Amparo
Right.
project, but then she was in a band called Moon Coup, like a coup on the moon. You know, take the moon back.
It was Amparo.
Yeah.
And I loved the cassettes. You know, it was cassette days.
Yeah.
So obviously, you're looking.
Somewhere in here I have that cassette sleeve because I found it and totally stole it. It's incredible. It has like the pyramids and sort of a faded in eyeball of hers. It's really cool. It's like perfect 90s cassette cover. I love it.
Well, give her my best. The last time that we crossed paths, with KUTX and you was during Shakey Graves Day 9, and you did a show with us at Hog Auditorium. Just for those who don't know, can you just give a little capsule description of what happens on your birthday? The shows, how you play shows, and also how your music becomes available for charitable concerns?
Yeah. Yeah, it's technically it's like my alter ego's birthday. So in 2012, the city of Austin named February 9th Shakey Graves Day for that year. And it meant I got to go down to City Hall and like bother them while they were trying to work, and they put my CD on file and stuff. And then every year since then, I've kind of just used it as a deadline for myself to put something new out. And then at the same time, I usually try and have a show and bring out either friends, new projects. Usually I have other bands. This time it was just us. But basically every year I put out a new EP or demos or unreleased stuff. And then I put my entire catalog out for pay what you want. So you can pay $1 and get, I think it's up to like 15 records or something like that, because we put one out every year, and then I have 4 other ones. And it's basically like that CD wall behind you is kind of how, like, I have a cassette tape wall over here of 4-track cassettes and like all sorts of, hard drives of me sitting around in sort of a bathrobe like this. And I try and find ways to vent those as opposed to just sit on them and never look at them. So Shakey Graves Day has been a good chance to try and do that for a charitable purpose every year. And then we pick like a different charity, and half the proceeds of the whole thing end up going to that.
Well, we had a great time at Hog Auditorium this year, and I look forward to Shakey Graves Day every year, and I download a few things myself, so I appreciate it. I spent some time with you yesterday on your YouTube channel. Hello, gorgeous. And for those that don't know, that is not only the name of Shakey's studio, not the one he's in now, but his remote studio, and also this new video series that episode 1, which is what I watched, which I think is the only one available at this moment, is a documentary about you, and then it leads into your band, and then you play a new song, at least on this first episode you did. So tell me about when this light bulb went off in your head and you thought, I'm going to do this video series, and also where does Hello Gorgeous come from?
It's a good question. Yeah, I feel like at some point late last year we were touring around and I played this festival called Red Ants Pants Festival, which is like in a field in Montana. And I was out there with literally like Montana cowboys and people like that. And I would run into some like super country person that's like, hey man, I watch you on YouTube all the time. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like selling digital records or what, putting music out into the world. I have noticed that some old videos that I've put out or did a long time ago, sort of when everyone was trying to do a takeaway show, is what everyone would call it, I guess, because of the KUTX stuff. It's like, oh, let's do takeaway shows. Like you play a song in an elevator, you can, rush into a restaurant and play music for people. And I started recording me just playing live, or lots of people, with digital DSLRs and stuff started just recording content. And so I did a bunch of that stuff, and like a video I did for something called Audio Tree where I play Roll the Bones is up to like 2 million views or something, like whatever, crazy stuff. But it's just an area where I think people end up absorbing a lot more of my music than I realize. And where I've put a lot of stuff out where people will request stuff. And I'm like, how do you know how did they know this song? And then I'm like, oh, I played that on the internet like 3 years ago. And someone's like, yeah, so now I know this. But I had never put my own material out. All this stuff was like basically under somebody else's, web series thing or something like that. So a while back, I was like, it would be nice to actually film something, like be able to tell a story of some sort and then release new music like that. And basically I started working on a new record with my dudes, with my band, and we have a new studio. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and film us starting this. So I kind of experimented and tried. It was super weird because my band lives in sort of different places, but one member lives in LA and one in New York. And so they would come in for 10 days and, and I'm like, guys, we are now the Kardashians. We have a camera crew in here. It's like we wired the studio up to, be extra bright and crazy. And we literally tried to do a recording session with like a, a small crew in there, but not songs we knew before, like kind of writing them as we go. So the song in the first episode, which is called Look Alive, the stuff that's like the music video portion of that is actually us writing and recording that song in the studio as we did it. So I was kind of trying to merge all these things of sort of a takeaway show with a, music video, which I usually loathe to make after I've heard the song 10 million times, to have it all kind of be fresh and come out in real time, and then use it to promote. And then all this coronavirus stuff happened. I didn't even know when I was going to put this stuff out. And it was like, oh, I have a 3-part documentary series right now, just like with new music attached. It's like, I guess now's the time. So, hello, gorgeous. It's like, here it is.
Perfect timing for this video series that Shakey's talking about, which just launched with Hello Gorgeous episode 1 and ended with the song you mentioned, Look Alive. And so I felt your power pop inner child coming out during that song, and it was reminding me of that you did that John Waite cover on one of the All ATX CDs. You've got a little bit of a power pop heart under the rest of it, right?
Yeah, I love power pop. I really do. I kind of went full power pop like last year, just in my musical listenings, and kind of went down a rabbit hole of you know, the like Numero Group records. Do you ever listen to those? It's this company that finds like old defunct, you know, record labels or obscure local pockets of music kind of throughout time, and then they repress and re-release these crazy records that, you know, I just adore because it's some strange dude in 1988 in his bedroom or whatever being like, yeah, in Minnesota, like, I love power pop, you know. And they have some really cool power pop records, and I forget, there's a compilation, but their website is just this like black hole of going into it and then being like, oh my god, they package everything really beautifully and number it. So if you're really, really obsessive about collecting, you're just like, well, there goes all my money in the future, is buying these beautiful LPs of, you know, some obscure San Antonio band from the 50s.
Well, that song was great, and I recommend to everyone to go onto YouTube and watch Hello Gorgeous episode 1. There's some new episodes coming out. There's episode 2 next week, and episode 3 is in May. So you don't have to play a power pop song, but you've got your guitar there, and it's been a couple of years since Can't Wake Up, the last album. You could play us something new. You could play a favorite. What are you in the mood to play right now?
Let's see. I'm going to play something new. So what we've been trying to do, I guess, is like on Mondays have been the release day. So yesterday's Monday, I did like the reason I have this whole setup is I did a Zoom meeting and played songs, and it was crazy and strange. But the next episode, this song is in the next episode, which comes out this next Monday, or the next Monday, this Monday, next Monday. This is a song called Not Everything Grows. My way or the highway, born a diamond, die a spade. My way, learn as you go. Sun might shine, but you never know. Sadly, not everything grows. My eyes open at last, blinded finally, free from my past. Oh, freedom, my what a word. Wear it proudly, never be heard. Sadly, not everything grows. My love, blind as a bat, wear it proudly, never look back. It tumble, grasp as you go. In the darkness, you are the glow. Now I know, now I know, now I know that everything grows. flower pot.
What a great song. Thank you,
Hey,
Shane.
thank you.
Not Everything Grows, and that will be premiered on the next episode of your video series, Hello Gorgeous, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Will you play it solo or will it be with a band?
Well, the initial idea of this thing, which we're sort of getting around to, originally I kind of wanted to cover something different each time. So the first one was like an introduction to the dudes. The next one is sort of about, I guess it's about recording a little bit, but initially it was going to be about solo versus band and sort of the dynamic between that. This song or this episode has 2 songs in it. So it's got me playing that solo. And then it debuts another song called The Recipe, which I wrote about. I was in Charleston, South Carolina, and I was walking down the street and heard beautiful music coming from a street corner and ended up running into this old man who was playing violin, like beautiful violin music. And as I got closer, I realized he was playing, he was singing We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister, but sort of like barking it out over this violin, beautiful violin music he was doing. And it just sort of cracked my brain. I couldn't really put the 2 things together and was like, what's happening? And ended up just imagining this guy's life where he just loved hair metal and invested so much time in it. And then the world turned and sort of left that behind a little bit. And now he's just like, well, I guess I turned to my classic training, but I'm not going to let go of the hair music. So that song's on there too. And, we sing a little bit of We're Not Gonna Take It. So we had to get Dee Snider's permission. So he's a co-writer on that one, which is my quarantine dream come true. I wrote a song with Dee Snider, kind of. Yeah.
You got to dream big, man.
Telling you.
Dream big. So these episodes are so well timed, unfortunately, due to the fact that so many of us are looking for entertainment online, and you've produced this Hello Gorgeous series. And the production quality of episode 1, it's an amazing documentary, really. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Looks, it looks great, but it still feels like you're at home, like maybe you're in your bathrobe, even though you're not. Before we go, tell me about the episodes that are kind of in between the episodes, because on Monday, episode 2 comes on of Hello Gorgeous, but in between the proper episodes, if you will, there's these, and you alluded to them earlier, it's kind of a concert, hang, call-in, quiz show with a charitable component. Tell me about these intermittent episodes, if you will.
Now, it might sound like I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's not it. It's that I have a lot of ideas and I just don't know how to do them. No, it's sort of a test in all this, I've kind of had mixed feelings about, like I'd love to play music and stuff for people on the internet, but the thing I felt like doing the least was like being like, let's party, because this is all like super intense, and I there, as much as I know that we need to keep like a positive attitude and stuff, I didn't feel like the first thing I wanted to do was jump on the internet and play my guitar for people. But I thought about it more and just realized that like I'm safe right now, and I have people that I love, but everyone's sort of there's people in all ranges. I'm sure there's someone at some beautiful chateau somewhere, and then there's someone who lives in a tent off I-35, and everything in between. And this affects everybody. So I just put that together and was like, if I am going to do anything, it should just be for a charitable cause, and hopefully make people like have a good time. And so that was my leading impetus into going into this. And I came up with, yesterday was the first one, came up with this thing where my friend Esme gave me these blank die. So I carved numbers into these like 5, 10. This one has 100 on it. And what I did was I wrote a bunch of kind of badly phrased quiz questions, like trivia questions. And then there's 4 of these. This one's like outdoor, like wilderness questions, stupid entertainment questions, general knowledge. You pick one, roll it. If it's $5, I would pick somebody on Zoom and then ask them a question. If they got it right, I would donate $5 to the Music Cares COVID-19 fund. And what it turned into quick was I was like, am I gambling against charity? I put myself in the position to like try and stump people with these questions. But it was fun. It was like, I sat around and drank wine with people on the internet and just kind of got to gab with people more than be just on a screen. So, you know, next week we're gonna, or the interim weeks in between these releases. So it's like episode, hang out on the internet, episode, hang out on the internet. So the next one, I don't know. I might try and call my dudes and maybe we do a, you know, something reasonable for charity, like strip poker, you know, something very normal, whatever it is.
Well, nicely played. There's always a charitable component to what you do, and that's really cool. And, you know, when we first heard you, Alejandro, Shakey Graves, and Roll the Bones, you know, it was a rather enigmatic thing with this suitcase percussion and who is this guy? And you're lifting the veil a little bit, but not too much. And it's really nice. So everyone who has a little extra time on their hands, visit Hello Gorgeous on YouTube. And we've been visiting and spending quality time today with Alejandro Rose-Garcia, known to the world as Shakey Graves. My friend, good to see you. I know it's hard to predict, but will all of these new songs perhaps coalesce into an album at some point?
Yeah, that's my idea is to earlier in this year, even I had wanted to kind of release more as I went, because that's just kind of how I used to do stuff. And then now it's like releases, or you put all your eggs in a basket and put the basket out into the ocean and, you know, wait for responses or whatever. And I had just kind of wanted to put stuff out as it goes. So these episodes and the release that's going to come out with them is just a small piece of hopefully something that I'm going to continue to try and do throughout the year. And I have an idea of what it looks like, but again, there's been so many curveballs that like it could be anything, you know. And it is cool that there's a lot of really creative people at home with lots of time to collaborate. Everyone's kind of trapped to where you're like, do you want to work on a project? People are like, yeah. So I don't know, you know, who knows? But this is kind of a setup of something I'm going to keep playing with and try and hone in on more. You know, I messed up my Zoom meeting. Only 100 people could get in, but I tried to sign up for 500, and you know, I muted myself a lot. But the next time I'm going to be it's going to be lightning quick. You know, people just coming through, charitable funds flying left and right. So, you know, it's learning process for us all, I think.
And as a fan, thank you. It's fun to watch it all unfold with no precise destination. We'll see where it lands. Good to spend quality time with you, Shakey.
It's good to see you, Jody.
And give my best to your family and Steph.
I will. You too, man. You too. Stay safe in that cool CD dungeon.
And you stay safe as well. Nice bathrobe, by the way.
Thank you.
Take care, my friend.
See you, buddy.
Bye.